Hello, lovely people, and welcome to the chaos. I'm Shaq. I have been pulling all the Halloween decorations down, but I'm not to the point of putting them away. And I'm discovering I have a mental block about making progress on just about anything if my desk is occupied completely and totally with a project, which lately I'll show you here in a second. It's been pottery. That is the main focus, obviously, of what I need to do, with it being how I make money. But it has to move. I am going a little bit crazy because I can't. It blocks the creative flow, the brain flow, doing anything else. So let me show you a clip of what it looks like right now. This is, of course, the state of the desk. The red pieces of paper are patterns and forms for Christmas trees, Yule trees. And I have some bells started, little ornaments there. And there's one, my first seagull on a shell. Actually, this is the second one. First one fell apart. I didn't let it dry slow enough. Anyway, I need to get those covered back up. And let's get back over to the dollhouse. I meant high-rise, not dollhouse. But as you can see, the desk is completely covered in the redware stuff, and you can't put anything else up there or it gets stained or marred by the redware. And the dust is... redware dust gets in everything. But I try to keep it contained to the desktop so that it's not getting in everything. And that means that only what's going on the desk, that means the redware is the only thing that can go on the desk, which is like really fouling my mental processes. I need to have a space that I can just leave as redware and not have to multi-purpose it. And that's one of the things I wanted to do with the cardboard, with getting that thick piece that works like a piece of plywood. That would make it a viable option for making a workbench that, and since I don't do a lot of slamming of clay, it has a higher potential of working. But I can find enough pallets and scrap wood to build a framework, but I need a top to be able to have a workbench that I could just leave as redware and not have it be used for anything else. And maybe eventually we'll get a studio I can actually go in and work in, and then I could go to work, do the work, leave work. Right now I'm behind on little bird figurines because this weekend, instead of working on the redware like I usually do, Joey comes home with cups or mugs or whatever that need to be decorated, and on like Thursday. And so I spend the weekend working on that. Well, this weekend they didn't bring anything home, but we had nice weather, and we're seriously way overdue for a chimney clean. So it was up on the roof for me. And I thought Joey and I did really well, because usually there's all four of us here when I do a chimney clean. I do it on a day that everybody's here, nice weather. And everybody does a little bit to help out, because it's pretty labor intensive to do the whole clean. You have to take everything off the stove, which there probably shouldn't be things sitting on the stove all the time, but there are. And so it has a warmer shelf up at the top. Everything has to be removed from that, especially. And then your kettle and anything that you leave sitting on top of the stove, staying warm or just being there, has to go. And then everything around it has to be moved. And that's, like every little dog bed or blanket that Joey has put down. I don't know why the dog has so many spots that he can choose around the wood stove. That's not my doing, but he does have all these spots that he can choose, and so you have to move all that. So I got started and I moved everything off the stove, and I don't normally do that. That's not normally part of what I do. I clean the chimney. I get on the roof, I take the brush and I clean the chimney, and then I'm done. This time, because it was just Joey and I, Joey wasn't actually feeling that great, but we both looked at the weather and said, it's got to happen. We don't want to take the risk of running out of, an appropriate day. I don't want to go up on that roof when it's wet. It's not that the roof's all that dangerous when it's wet. It's just, who wants to do that? So, yeah. And, got up there, took my pictures that I take when I get on the roof, and, got down, and then she and I cleaned out the whole stove. So she was vacuuming and I was scraping, because you got to get all the ashes go around, or the smoke, the heat from the fire, which involves smoke and ashes, goes around the oven. So you've done this, it's got this whole area that it circulates around the oven to heat it up. And so you have to scrape the top of the oven, and then there's a little hole in the back of the stove where you can access scraping the side, which doesn't usually accumulate a lot, but there's going to be something. And then you can scrape out everything that you have pushed down the chimney, and everything that you've scraped off the top that has gone down. And so you have to scrape that all those ashes out from underneath. And that's usually Cloud's job. And so I did that. And then I was walking around kind of like a zombie going, oh my gosh, are we done yet? But Joey finished with the vacuuming, and we got everything put back. And of course, when you move all the stuff away, you like realize how nasty it is. And so there was a lot of cleaning, and Joey did a lot of cleaning and scrubbing the top of the warmer shelf, and cleaning off other bits that just get neglected, because and it's harder to clean when there's a fire. When there's a fire in the stove, it's harder to clean all that. So anyway, we did that, and then I was like, oh yeah, we got that done. And then I look outside and I was like, I can't do anything more today. So that was my Saturday. I was like wiped out. Sunday morning I get up, oh, we got another nice day. And the leaves haven't been removed from around the house, and no one's going to do that but me. I just can't get anybody else to take care of that thing, or even help me. It's just so far beyond their desire to do in any way. If you leave the leaves up against the house, of course you cause rot. And so it needs to be done. And I'm going to admit, I don't think I did it last year. I think I failed to do it last year. I was just too worn out, or just too scattered, or whatever. I just don't think it happened. So there was a lot of the leaves. We have two big leaf maples, well, major ones on either side, on the north and south of the house. And then there's a smaller one that's kind of to the southeast, but then the one to the north and the one to the south, they really produce most of the leaves that get up against the house. And it's like you've got, like, it's this deep. I mean, I don't know if you like 8 inches deep to a foot deep in places, with leaves. So I had to rake and move all of that to someplace else. And we don't burn the leaves. We don't do anything but compost them. And I gathered enough to fill the one compost barrel. And then the rest just got moved out into the woods. It just spread out into the woods, because they serve purposes. As they decompose, they're fertilizer. They are a home to a lot of different bugs, and they're very important to their making it through the winter. And also, there's some of them need that mulch for their reproductive cycle. And so it's just really important that you give the wildlife that space to do its thing. And obviously, they've got a lot of space around here. There's 10 acres that they can do their thing in, but I don't want to destroy that process by being all, I got to get all the leaves up. And so I just take it away from the house and just get it away from the house, and that's a lot of work, and it took me all day Sunday, and so that meant that the figures that Arthur had asked for didn't happen, and that's why I'm behind on that. But now that you kind of have an idea of what I went through this weekend, the floor that we put together with the cardboard so far looks really great. I did find a spot upstairs where once it was cut to size, it fit to stay flat so that I didn't have it in a position where it could curl. I wanted it to be able to lay flat while it continued to cure. So that's where it's at. I also realized that I couldn't install it until I had the walls made. And I think there's enough material in the scrap to do the end walls, but not the back wall. So debating about that, but obviously I need to do that on top of my desk, and haven't hit a point in production where I can pause, clear the desk, and do that. In the evenings, after I get done with the redware and I'm cleaning up, I do sewing and knitting. And I have been sewing for SC, getting him more traditional Yule Christmas colors. So these, let's see, I set his pants down here somewhere. There they are. So we're in the middle of making a striped shirt. The style of shirt will be this. So that's the style I'm using. There's going to be a striped one to go with these pants. And I'm thinking about making a vest out of this fabric as well to go over the shirt. And then there is, to go with these lovely plaid pants, there is a shirt made out of this, which, yeah, I know, it's got bats and dragons and stuff, but it does have the red and the green. And I was thinking about taking the stripe, let's see if I can demo this here, and doing it in kind of a chevron as a vest to go over that green shirt with the plaid pants. Anyway, it'd be very, very Victorian, and I love it. It's an outfit that if I had the time and the materials to make, I'd make for myself. So I already have the shirt and he'll have the shirt, but I can't afford this in wool, which is what I would prefer. I mean, if you're gonna wear it Yule season, I want wool pants. It's not quite cold enough now. In fact, we again got another beautiful day, and it's like starting out at like 60 degrees in the morning, and then it gets colder throughout the day, but which is weird if you ask me. But it's not cold enough for me to be wearing wool pants yet. But I know by the time Yule rolls around, I'm gonna want wool pants on. I would love it if I could make myself a pair like that, but I can't get the wool. I don't know if you've ever checked the prices of 100% wool suiting. It's kind of spendy, and especially the popular plaid colors of Christmas, Yule season, they make them a little more expensive. But one day I am going to be able to do that. But right now, I am working on, let's see, pennants for the triangular shaped thing for the market. So I've been doing, see those are Halloween pennants back there. I've been doing the Dolls Mini Market, which is an Instagram thing with the Cindy doll collectors, and this December is obviously got a Yule theme, and I don't think I have any pennants to hang around on the market stall. So I'm taking the scraps from the clothes that I'm making for Essie, and I've cut out some pennants already, and so I drew this triangle and then gave it seam allowance additional seam allowance along the sides. So it's going to end up shorter, a little chunkier looking, I think, because you gotta also have seam allowance up here. And I am cutting it out of that fabric, those different fabrics, to be able to have that ready to go to make pennants at night once I get SC shirts made. And I may regret doing the sewn version because it may take me longer than I want it to. You could just cut out those triangle pennant shapes and out of the fabric and use some kind of fray check around the edge, and then you would have it would be like basically done. You could glue it to the string. But the thing I am noticing about, like, say, the paper pennants that are in here is that it's really, they fight you on hanging down right. They don't have enough weight to them. If they get stuck on the string gets twisted a little, or if they get stuck on the string wrong, they flick up. And another thing that I wanted to share is that when I took that break, one of the projects I got done was I finished crocheting the bigger red blanket for Della. So we're going to set this aside, and we're going to go down and we're going to visit Della for a minute. Here's Della all ready with her teapot and a couple of cups to share some tea with you. Here is the blanket that I got crocheted for her. Before it only covered about, I think, that much of the bed. Now it goes all the way up there. So I also, if you didn't notice, I moved this around. I discovered I was not able to see the paintings I'd done on the bed. I was not getting to enjoy those at all. So I moved the bed out of the back corner, out of the back corner where I had it, and put the wardrobe back there. It's a little harder to get into the wardrobe and find what I'm looking for, but not too bad. And Della's got on a nice autumn colored coordinated dress. And I hope that before we conclude here, this is from the rag bag days when we were making Yule presents out of whatever we could find. The year that the cardboard horse was made, Joey made this for me with scraps out of the rag bag. And I don't know if you have a rag bag, but we certainly did and do. Where those worn out clothes go. And I can see, like, in here we've got the thermal clothes, both Arthur and Cloud wore, are the red and the blue. There's flannel here. She had, let's see, Joey had a dog made out of that. There was some doll dresses made out of that. That flannel, both of those, had a lot of different uses. And I think at one point Joey had a gown made out of it, so that kind of makes sense. But everything in here has some kind of memory to it. She even did a little embroidered stick man, which I think is fun. Is there anything else on there? Oh, yes. We have a tree. And I think that's a nativity scene right there. Tell me what you think. Does that look like a nativity scene to you? That may be asking a bit much there. And I think that's it. Anyway, I found that in my doll stuff, and I said, well, we're going to put it down here on the floor in Della's space. It's a little memory piece. And I hope that you've enjoyed this little chat. And I've got just enough pennants cut out so that I can get started on that as soon as I finished SC's shirts. Because he's like, excuse me? Don't leave me part way on this. Yeah, we've got every floor looks like this, where there's a bunch of dolls laying flat on their back. Going, you kind of forgot us here. So yeah, there needs to be some cleanup in the high rise. Della says, hey, I keep my space all nice and neat. I don't want to allow any of those shenanigans to happen down here. So hopefully your world is a little more organized than mine, and that you're having a delightful day, and that you continue to have a wonderful week. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.